Congressman, thank you, first of all, for your time and for those remarks this morning. And I'd like to have an opportunity to visit with you here in front of my NACo colleagues, because you do have a local government background, which we appreciate anytime somebody can bring that into Congress. So as Majority Whip, you're in a unique position to bring a lot of different voices to the table in that role. From your perspective, what's the best way to strengthen the partnership between federal policymakers and those of us who are in county government?
I think it starts with communication. And I mean communication where we don't get caught up in the politics. We're going to have disagreements. And yes, you're right. I mean, I started out as a city councilor. I served on 2 different city councils, the city of Independence, Minnesota, and later the city of Delano, where I moved to. I've told people that it was the greatest experience in public service that I ever had. Why? Because you didn't run as a Republican or a Democrat. And I tell this story all the time, and we forget this, that my first parade that I walked in my own hometown when I was in the state legislature for the first year, it's the 4th of July parade, and everybody has been to these. You got the little kids on the curb waiting for the candy. You got the 30-something parents sitting in folding chairs behind them. And if they're lucky enough, they've got their grandparents standing or sitting behind them. And I get to the end of the parade in my town, and this little old gal comes running out into the middle of the street, gives me a big hug, and in my ear she says, "Why couldn't you have been a Democrat? You would have been such a good Democrat." We forget that at the end of the day, it's about solving problems. And I think we get caught up wearing the jersey, and I did a little bit today, but it's not about the jersey.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's number one. When we sit down at the table, it's okay to go out and campaign hard. Paul Ryan said this to me once. I said, "What has happened around here?" Paul said, "You know, we used to go out and campaign against each other really hard, knock down, drag out campaigns, and then we get back to Washington, D.C., and we would have the discussions and get the job done because we knew what we had to get done." He blamed back then the advent of 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week, soundbite-driven entertainment news. And I would add today, social media layered on top of that has made us all tribal. It's given us, we're only looking at one side of the discussion. So I say to all of you, despite what you may disagree with me on, it isn't about the disagreement, it's about the discussion.
Yep. Thank you for that. Thank you. So we say a lot in conversation as counties around here that if we're not at the table, we're on the menu. So what tips could you give to us to make sure we have a meaningful voice at that table when policies are being made that will impact counties? How can we get ahead of some of that?
I think your message that you gave this morning is the right message. It's about people. It's about your stories. I just had a meeting with one of my counties last week when I was in Minnesota, the last couple of days actually, and they were explaining to me the problem with, as they try to enroll people in the SNAP program, for instance, or in Medicaid. They've got a system that's so antiquated that they can't be responsible for some of the mistakes that are on there. You know, it's kind of like going to the Anoka County Airport, which I did before the last election, and they showed me that their air traffic control system is still run on floppy disks. So I think it's your stories and sharing them with actual policymakers. This is why I say it starts with a discussion. I may have a perspective that is uninformed. You've got one, you may think of me as, oh, that guy's never going to listen to me. Well, let's sit down at the table. You show me that floppy disk, and I'm going to say, oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. Why aren't we solving that problem? So I think that's what you got to do, is make those stories live, make them real.
Thank you. Appreciate that. 2 of our major priorities we're spending a lot of time on this week and in the coming year will be the Farm Bill, very important especially for a lot of our rural communities, and surface transportation reauthorization. Counties have 44% of our roads and 38% of our nation's bridges. Do you have any outlook you can give us on what to expect with Farm Bill or surface transportation reauthorization?
Yeah, I think you're going to see them both. You're going to get to hear from the chairman of the House Agricultural Committee, G.T. Thompson. Hopefully the message he's going to give you is that we passed a lot of his farm bill already in the Working Families Tax Cut Act. A lot of the things that Republicans and Democrats like to fight about, the funding stuff, was done in that bill. The stuff that remains GT has been working in cooperation with his Democrat counterparts, and I think he's ready, or very soon he'll be ready to bring that to the floor and move it forward. I think you're going to see the rest of the Farm Bill done this year. And the Surface Transportation Act is something that Sam Graves, I hope you're going to have Sam here. That committee, it's funny, when I came to Congress, when it comes to transportation, when it comes to agriculture in particular, those aren't Republican and Democrat issues. Those are American issues. So look for both of those to find their way to the floor and get passed, at least out of the House. We're going to have to see the Senate a little bit more functional as we go forward. Maybe if they can reach an agreement and understanding on this Homeland Security bill, that'll open the floodgates and great things will start moving.
Well, that's encouraging to us, and you'll certainly be hearing priorities from these counties as those bills move forward. But NACo family, please join me in thanking Majority Whip Emmer for being with us this morning and for having a dialogue with us. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, man.
It's wonderful.
Have a great week.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Have a great week. Thanks.